just to let some of you know, you're going to be seeing some of your friends, maybe some of your family members who are going to be taking the stage, and some of them have never been on the stage doing stand-up comedy before. Some people are like, hey, do you want to do this or swim with sharks? So make sure you make some noise for them. They're in the back of the room. They can hear your applause. So are you excited to see them? All right, well, please help me welcome to the stage the very funny, their coach, Professor Bree Jones.
For a full year to conceal your smiles and laughter. So I'm going to need you to turn it up to 11, bring the energy, and most of all, have a good time. Is that okay? Fantastic, guys. I want to thank all my beautiful students for taking this class. It was a little experimental, and I was like, Boise's funniest person can do this in 4 weeks. I can do it in 5. That was a lot shorter time than I anticipated, you guys. But they crushed it. They went out to open mics. They bombed. They saw me bomb. We prepared to kill it tonight and break some legs. So I'm going to get you warmed up and do a little comedy. How's that sound? As it says, I am Professor Jones, but if you already forgot, my name is Bree. A lot of times whenever I meet people, they go, Bree, like the cheese. No. First of all, that's not how you spell it. Second, that's a lame dad joke, and I'm a professional comedian. Keep your dad jokes to yourself, please. So I've come up with a way to introduce myself, just cuts everyone off of the past. Goes like this. Hi, my name is Bree, spelled like free, but with a B. Genius. Turns out this was also very handy in the dating world, because it subtly implanted in men's minds, cheap date. Till he met me in real life, and he's like, oh no, I hope she doesn't want to go to dinner. I do. And no cheap buffet tricks neither, fellas, okay? I'm a lady, I deserve something fancy. Yeah. Preferably fondue. I can hate the joke, I can still love cheese, okay? That's how we got into this situation. I've been dating my guy for a little while now, and funny enough, he saw that joke, and for our first date, he took me to fondue. Aww, it's like a guy who listens. Rare find. Before that, I was in a pretty long relationship. It lasted like 4.5 years. Ended in a 6-month marriage. Oops. Sorry, Dad. Quick question for the crowd, though. Round of applause if you are my ex-husband. No? Cool. The attorney said you had to stay 500 feet away. Oh, no, he's not here, but here's the story. We were in love, we got engaged, blah, blah, blah. But we were waiting to get married until he got his degree, because I had mine. And he finally did it, Boise. He graduated with a degree in political science. We can all agree, right? Useless degree. Political science majors in the house are like, oh no. This means he was unemployed for our entire marriage. But I found out he was using job interviews as an excuse to get real dressed up and go out on dates. Ooh, yeah, right. Did you guys know night interviews are not a thing? Now we all know that's my public service announcement. The more you know. I just turned 30. I'm very excited to be 30. I have been telling people I'm 30 for like the last 3 years though. She looks amazing. It's because I'm 27. I'm really excited about it. I got a big girl job recently. They like pay a living wage. Very exciting for a comedian. This is very new to me. But the worst part of it is it's in Caldwell. You're all from Caldwell, cool. So we'll change the subject. That's fine. But this just means all my coworkers are pretty much bigots and terrible people. But I do have one saving grace. She's amazing. And she's taught me that in 2021, we gotta stop trying to label people and put them in boxes. We can be more than one thing. Like, I'm more than one thing, right? You're more than one thing. Because she amazes me. She's female, Asian, Republican, Jewish. That is a combo right there. I didn't know those people existed. That's amazing. I'm pretty sure that she was made in a lab by robots that grossly misinterpreted the internet. I'm so excited. All right, well, we'll get to your fam and friends and all that, but let's just address the elephant in the room, because I'm sure you all noticed you can't stop staring, but yes, I did. I cut off my thumb. Oh, yeah, I know about it. It's okay. I was 14. There's a chop saw involved. Oopsie daisies, right? But in that instant, my career dreams just disappeared. Like, I loved math. I thought I'd be a mathematician, and now I can barely count to 10. Yeah, I can do fractions, though, so that's neat. I loved making movies. I thought maybe I could be real judgy, be a movie critic, but no, I'm never going to give 2 thumbs way up. I cut off my thumb, and my God, it's a stupid magic trick, you guys. So dumb! Yeah, mystifying. Where did it go? What I'm trying to say is I'm broken. Not just this, but I'm also partially deaf in one ear, so this side of the room, oh my God, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to pick it up for your other comments later, okay? No, I am deaf in one ear. It's getting worse. It's genetic. It's just gonna keep getting worse. I'll probably be completely deaf by the time I'm 50, so here I am, a now 30-year-old stand-up comedian with no health insurance, trying to learn sign language. I have a free app I downloaded on my smartphone, and the more signs I learn, the more I'm like, this is kind of important. Am I gonna have a speech impediment? All right, guys, my name is Bree Jones. Thank you so much. This is our cleaning David. She's amazing. And that's how it's done. Because COVID. And I didn't want your friends and family to worry about cleaning microphones, right? That's just too much stress on top of remembering 10 minutes of jokes. Who's ready for the first comedian? Great, I was the first. You're welcome. So the next comedian, I thought, who else is calm, cool, and collected? You know, this guy's been to a few open mics, so I don't know why he took my class, because he's amazing. Everybody, give it up for Andrew Lyman!
How you guys doing? You guys came to an open mic, or I mean a Tuesday night amateur night. You guys deserve like a purple medal. But yeah, fun fact about me, I got a purity ring at 15. And if you don't know what that is, that's when adults sit you down in a class and they lie to you about the importance of abstinence. And if you're unlucky like me, those adults are your parents. And the reason I knew they were lying is because they had me at 17. Yeah, but it worked though. It kept me abstained for 10 years. Good job, guys. Oh, that's 25. That's sad. No, something about seeing like my 23-year-old mom pushing 4 kids through a mall. I was like, yeah, I'm good. But yeah, like a lot of hype goes into it, right? You know, like it's, I waited a while. But you get, and it turns out so different. It just turns out to be like, all right, we like open a bottle of wine, we play some rummy, and then we practice missionary position. Like that's how it's been going. But the expectations were so crazy because it was like, man, every night's gonna be Adderall, Mountain Dew, and Call of Duty. You're gonna love it. And then, but it's either way, it's still better than like just like the Christian Guild self time before. It was just like, we shouldn't be doing this. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. We're going to hell. But yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'm enjoying it. Thanks for asking. Thanks for asking. I mean, after all, it's just like 2 white married people having sex. I mean, I got turned out alright, but I really love my wife. I like to talk about her because it's COVID and she's the only one I've hung out with. But it's funny. We always like mask our problems with like traveling beforehand, and now it's gone. And so we learned like all of our frictions that have occurred. And one of them is every time she asks me if I go to the store. And I don't mind doing anything for her. Like, do the dishes, clean the toilet, kiss my butt, I'm there. But I can't find my way out of a paper bag. Like, I can't find anything. I try so hard. But I end up going to the store and I'm just like, why are the fly swatters and the toilet paper right next to each other? I don't know. Why? But I found out, and I'm still wondering why. I can think of maybe 2 reasons why. One being because someone took my pampered self to the woods and said, here you go, you gotta squat. And so I'm getting my 2-ply and a fly swatter just for defending myself. And then the other is obviously outhouse usage. It surprises me because now I'm learning apparently the Venn diagram between the people of Walmart and outhouse users is bigger than we thought. And there are people who need to be served. But now it's gotten so bad that like that one fact took me like 40 minutes, 2 employees, and a FaceTime call. Like I run straight to FaceTime now. Like my wife knows, I will call her, we will talk, everyone will see. That's totally fine. Like I had to go and get big sexy hair recently, which if you're a guy, I don't blame you if you don't know what it is. If you're a girl, people are super shocked I know what it is. But yeah, so I had to go get it, and like it has to be just like 4 feet long of the options there are. But like as I'm like handing my FaceTime call to the employee, I get embarrassed. I get so sad. I'm like, I want to do good. I really do. And I'm like, even though I did a very disappointing job, maybe I'll go home and get lucky and like have that Adderall, Call of Duty and Mountain Dew night because I know I'm not getting laid. Man. Has anyone ever been fired before? Yeah? One person? It's okay. I've been fired 3 times. Most people are surprised. They're like, oh, like 25 minutes? But one time I worked at a camp and I told a woman she's put too much creamer in her coffee. That didn't go over well. And then I told a vegan the next day that it was her choice to be vegan. So were you offended on her behalf? Yeah. Another time, I just don't like waking up. Starbucks, you have to get up at 4 in the morning. No, thank you. And then the other time, I wanted to be a pastor. So it's all coming together. This is me living out the residual dreams of being a pastor. But yeah, so one of the things you have to do when you become a pastor is you have to ask people for money. And if you've ever asked your grandma for money before, and then asked her to pray about it, and she looks you stone cold in the eye, and she's like, "How much does your engagement ring cost?" And you're like, "It's $100 a month." And she's like, "I will do $100 a month, but I know what it's going towards." And that conversation over and over with all your loved ones is very hard. So of course I got fired. That's hard, guys. All right, that's my time. Thank you so much.
Keep it going for Andrew! You guys, I want to put out a quick shout out to Recycled Minds and the Creative Space, which is where you're sitting. Woo! If you guys need a venue for any reason, you're going to want to talk to Sean or Colleen, hit them up on their website, and you can schedule this and put on your own comedy show, or like, you know, just like a party. Not partiers, cool. You guys are from Caldwell, not partiers. I'm keeping track. You're lame. Okay. Okay, you guys, are you ready for your next comedian? He is a man of few words, but man, when he says stuff, it's a witty good time. Everyone give it up for Dave Oliver!
Thank you. So I'm from the South, and being where I'm from, I have a very long history of throwing what I call a very genteel brand of shade. And by that I mean, we're constantly judging you. We just pour a little bit of honey on top of it. And even the sweetest Southern grandmothers, they know there's 3 sayings that they can say to sort of Jedi mind trick you into not getting offended by what they just said. The first one's pretty popular. Anyone care to take a stab at what it is? That's right, bless their heart, bless his heart, bless her heart. My favorite example of this was my cousin, Crystal, came home at 17 and decided to break the news to the family at Thanksgiving that she got pregnant with her boyfriend. And immediately after telling about her big dreams of getting married and quitting school, my aunt leaned over and she's like, "Now, honey, you sure you want to quit school and run off and get married with that boy that got fired bagging groceries at the Piggly Wiggly?" Oh, bless your heart. And now the second one of these phrases is, "Poor thing don't know no better." And so I was talking to Aunt Midge the other day. She calls me and she says, "You remember that Jimmy Shoemaker you went to high school with? Well, last weekend he managed to put his boat and his truck into the lake. He was always a dim bulb. That poor thing don't know no better." And I had 3 classes my senior year with Jimmy Shoemaker, and he indeed has never known better. Now the last one of these phrases, it must be wielded with a deft touch, because it's used to talk about the people who are no longer with us. So my Aunt Midge, about 5 years ago, my Uncle Jake passed away. And let's just say the family was processing it in a very different manner. My cousins were devastated to lose their beloved father. But Midge just seemed to be simmering for a few days, because she knew a lot more about Jake than the rest of us. That genius decided that he was going to open up the bar because he liked beer. I mean, I like money, but you don't see me trying to open up a bank. And then when a business starts failing, he starts selling Colombian joy powder out of the kitchen and sleeping with all the waitresses behind my back. Now, he wasn't no good daddy and not really a good husband. God rest his soul. That was it. God rest his soul. That was the get out of jail free card. It's the salty and then the sweet. And that's just how Southern judgment works, folks. And to this day, I gotta admit, it was the most awkward eulogy I've ever heard. Now, moving here a few years ago, I couldn't help but bring that judgy nature with me. So I find myself, if I drive around Boise, like, critiquing all the cars around me. And you guys have that strange thing here where you have on your license plate, like, what county you're from. So it's like 1A. And you know, you got Boise, Meridian, Cuna, and Eagle. And when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking like stick figure families, bike racks, and weapons grade minivans. Or the second most popular one I see when I'm riding around is 2C, Canyon County. Shout out to Canyon County tonight, seems to be a popular county. So now we got Nampa, Caldwell, Parma, and Middleton. And when I see that, I generally see farm machinery masquerading as ground transportation. And I see lifted rigs and military-grade truck nuts. But the last most popular one I see around here is California. Now, not being originally from here, I don't really hold a position in the great California-Idaho wars of our time. But when I see Cali plates, it's usually slick electric cars, giant luxury SUVs, and bringing with them military-grade housing costs. Sorry. And I want to thank everyone for coming here tonight and supporting our team out there. It's been a wild year, I think, for everyone. And this pandemic's really affected us in some macro and some micro ways. And so for me, like one of the ways, and I think it's affected us all, is my grocery shopping routine. Like in the old days, I used to just get out, go in, grab a cart, not really a care in the world about what germs might be bungee jumping off the handle. Stroll in, maybe grab a coffee, and go about my business. But since the pandemic hit, my routine's changed quite a bit. Started out in the parking lot. First, I get there, put all my requisite personal protection equipment on. Got hand sanitizer, gloves, more hand sanitizer, face mask, shield, and if cases were spiking, I'd even put some booties in a park on. So then I go in, grab a couple wipes, and sanitize the cart, of course. And then go on in. And of course, as I go in, I'm following all the directional arrows because I'm not an anarchist. And if anybody decided they were going to come within 6 feet of me, I would not hesitate to hurl a tangelo in your general direction. But the worst part, like the most nerve-wracking part for me, was Schrodinger's toilet paper aisle. Like you round the corner and only to be greeted with empty shelves. But I do remember this one time I rounded the corner and I saw some unfamiliar packaging at the other end, about 40 feet away. So I do this walk-run thing, and I grab the package off, and then it all comes into focus. The reason this stuff's still here is because it's made from recycled chopsticks, toothpicks, and picnic tables. And now, if these were normal times, that would be a hard pass. But these wasn't normal times. So the next thing you know, I'm actually getting a little pissed off that I can only buy 2. So mission accomplished. I go to the checkout lanes, and what do I see up there in front of me but this guy that has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 packages of grade A, 2-ply, lotion-infused, thumb-on-poke-through-it double rolls of Charmin. And it was everything I could do not to curse out loud. So finally, I just looked over at the cashier and I said, "It looks like this guy can't read." Bless his heart. Thank you, folks. Stay long.
Keep it going for Dave! Oh my goodness. Too true, right? Too true. Dave, you gotta get one of them the days. They're a good time. They're also friendly. All right, you guys, if you're having fun so far, you can see more comedy. Yes, that's right, more comedy, but this time to be improv comedy. They have the Lizard People show happening this Saturday right here. Go to recycledminds.com to get your tickets. It's gonna be a great time. And, unlike this, made up on the spot. Hard, right? I'm gonna just keep this eye contact. There we go. Okay, you guys, your next comedian has not grasped how funny she is, but I know it, and you're about to know it. Everybody, give it up for Jenny Hartman!
Okay, it's not too bad up here. I'm so glad that I can't really see all of your faces. You're all beautiful people, but I just don't want to look at you is the thing. And it's not you, it's me. I am just terrified to be up here. I'm very insecure. And I think it's like in the way that something happens that's about here, but my emotional reaction is like way up here. Like someone could just jokingly be like, "Oh my God, shut up." And I would be like, "Shut up." Forever, they want me dead. Or if I'm driving down this, and then like a car passes me this way, and we make eye contact, and I smile, and I wave, and they look at me, and they don't wave back. Ugh, my heart, my day is ruined. So it's pretty impressive that I'm up here, I'd say, and it's fine, I'm in therapy. My therapist sees me as a literal child, though. Like, he will routinely say, "You're just out of diapers," and I'm like, "Thank you for acknowledging my emotional maturity." But I was a child at some point, and when I was a child, I would have these routines with my stuffed animals. Like, we would go through these plot lines over and over again. It was like we were preparing for our tour on Broadway together or something, just the same plot lines. And one of my plot lines was this dragon and giraffe love story. It was like a weird interspecies thing. It was kind of like dragon and donkey from Shrek. It shouldn't have really happened, but it did. And it was beautiful, but it was like a really weird conflict. It was the conflict I chose was that the dragon like murders the giraffe's mom, and then they end up happily together. They have their freak of nature giraffe gun babies. But first of all, homicide is a very adult theme, so I don't think my counselor should be saying that I'm a child until he's heard the mature themes of my interspecies tale of forbidden romance. And secondly, what toxic relationship was I exposed to where murder just isn't a red flag at all? Because I'm pretty sure not killing your significant other's family members is like the bare minimum at least. And I've never seen a sitcom where that happens. There's no episode where Ross like tries to kill Rachel's family members, but now that I think about it, I can see it. Ross is pretty terrible, and I would honestly watch it. So now I'm thinking, future screenwriter. You know, I am probably the only comedian up here that's brave enough to say a joke that I just wrote today. And I know what you're thinking. It's like, she had weeks to prepare, and she's saying something that she just wrote a few hours ago. She is fantastic at procrastinating. And you would be right. It's a problem. It's a rubbish habit of mine. I am, but I always get away with it. So By laughing at anything I say, you're actually supporting a deeply unhealthy habit and a bad lifestyle. So if you could just do me a favor and not laugh. You failed, but it's okay. I just know that means you want me to fail. Okay, I don't know if you noticed that there have been some grocery store jokes happening. Just a heads up, if you don't like grocery-themed comedy, it's not your night. There will be more. We have to write a grocery store joke is what I'm saying. And for mine, it was really hard because nothing interesting has ever happened to me in a grocery store. I've never been like, oh, I'm carrying too many oranges, they all fell. Or I've never slipped on a banana peel in aisle 7. I've never been mugged, so pretty much nothing interesting. And so I just had to rely on the internet, and I looked up grocery store fun facts for my inspiration. Did you know that the average person goes to the grocery store 1.6 times per week and spends an average of 43 minutes there? Okay, if you don't laugh, you've learned. You're welcome. And this made me think really hard about grocery store statistics. And what if I could be a grocery store statistician? How would I go about that? And so I thought of a few different ways I would do that. The first way is the normal, boring way of just interviewing people and just going around stores and being like, oh my gosh, how often do you go to the grocery store? That's so interesting. How long do you stay there? Have you ever been mugged in a grocery store? And the problem with that way is I don't trust people. I don't think people have an accurate representation of time, or at least I don't. The other day I woke up at 7 a.m. and I thought it was 7 p.m. I just thought the whole day disappeared. Or every time I sign my name on something, 10 out of 10, I didn't know the date. I had to look it up or I had to ask someone. And I think I function pretty well in society. So if that's the standard, I don't want to trust anyone else. I don't think anyone else knows how often they go to the grocery store. And if they do, that's weird. If you ask someone how often they go to the grocery store and they know off the top of their head 1.6 times per week, and they know they spend 43 minutes there, I would absolutely run. I don't know how time works, and I'm the more normal one in that situation. The second way is the obvious step up. It's just having people actually record how often they go and actually record how long they stay there. But the problem with that is I think knowing changes it. And I don't want to know how ineffective I am at shopping because I will go to the same aisle multiple times in the same trip. I'm back to aisle 4 for the spices. I forgot I needed cumin. Or I think that I would just make it a really weird self-competitive thing. I would be last week I spent 57 minutes there. Not this week. And then I sprint down the aisle and try to beat my record. It'd be like a grocery Olympics with just me. And then the third way is the most creepy, but I think it's a good way, and that's that I just stand outside the grocery store with a stopwatch and a notebook, and I pick a victim, and I just follow them around for the duration of the grocery store trip and take notes on them and time them. I think that would be the most accurate way. I'd be like the grocery store ninja. Is that racist? I don't know. I can say it. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great night.
Keep it going for Jenny! I told you she was funny, right? Guys, I was sitting back there and I was thinking about my robot coworker, yeah, and now I'm coming up with evidence, right? First thing of evidence, these robots have the best backstory. She's from California. We all tune out as soon as we hear that, right? So she doesn't even need a backstory. Her other evidence is her name is Alex. Alex, short for Alexa. Guys, she's a robot, I swear. All right, are you ready for your next comedian? Sometimes in life, you have people that just kind of go by the beat of their own drum and do their own thing, and it works for some reason. Guys, give it up for Daniel Adams!
good too. Jeez. All right. So first off, I'm gonna start us all off. Can I get a round of applause for everyone with 2 middle names? Nobody? Okay. Well, I guess people are just really special. That or Italian. Does anybody else have the problem of forgetting someone's name immediately after they just told you? Like, I don't know about you, but I do that every morning in the mirror. So I was thinking about all the different cultures that have 2 middle names. You know, you could be really famous, like Hispanic food restaurant owner. You could be a really cool Italian pizza guy. You could be a one-time use Arabic demolitionist. Yeah, I know, that's how everybody else reacted. But generally, it's a really cool thing because, I mean, it's a really exciting job for some people. Probably not for the people that they're testing it on. But I thought it was specifically interesting because to properly introduce myself, my name is Nathaniel Gregory Keith Adams, and I hope you enjoy my performance tonight, because you're in for an explosive night. Hopefully of laughter. So, I think even if I was a bomber, I think I would be a pretty bad one, because I would be the kind of bomber that would immediately forget that he had just planted one, and then be walking down like, alright, here's 1 minute till detonation goes up, ooh, donuts! And just run away and just forgets about the whole thing. The reason why I think like this is because I feel like I have the attention span of a goldfish. You know, they look at one rock, it's like, that's a nice rock. They look at another rock, they're like, that's a nice rock. You know, it just doesn't change. Now, those kinds of things are really weird because it's like the exact same feeling when you walk into a room, you just walked in, and you're like, and then you go in the other room, you remember exactly why you went in that room after you exit. It's like if you're a bank robber, you load up your AK, just, all right, everybody get on the ground, and have a nice day. Like, you just get the hell out of there. Man. I've had a lot of really weird things happen to me. Like this one time, I completely bombed my performance, and everything went wrong. I forgot several things I had written down, which I'm totally freaking out about whether or not I did that this time. But so far, so good. I'm pretty sure forgetting what you write down is a bad thing anyway. You know, goldfish memory does not really help. And just like that, I could be like explaining a story, be completely involved in it, and then just. So anyway, there's this time I was performing, and the night after I bombed this performance, I was just down in the mud, like, no, I'm just gonna give it up, that's it for me. Like, giving up just like that. I can't snap with this hand. So, I'm walking around the next morning like every 40-year-old mom going around trying to grab a coffee. And I remember this fortune cookie from a couple nights ago with some Panda Express. And all of a sudden, I'm like a toddler from a freaking 40-year-old mom, like, oh, a cookie! So I go, open up that fortune, see what it says. And now I'm acting as if I have just been spoken to by God himself. Because this fortune just so happened to say in the moment, your sense of humor is a tremendous asset. What are the chances? Those things are randomly printed, and it just so happened that one came into my hands at that moment. That's like the situation of someone sitting in the middle of a room like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, and God just walks in like, yes you can! Like an over-enthusiastic father. I wish my father would have done that. So, after that kind of thing happening to me, I started thinking like, man, I truly am passionate about a lot of the things that I do. All the way from doing things like LARPing, Who the hell knows what LARPing is here? That's classic. Then to gaming, I mean, big whoop on that. Everybody does that on their phone at least, you know, Candy Crush or some crap. And then, at my very best, I work in the royal family's culinary division, also known as Burger King. So, working as a cook in the Burger King, typically you don't see any of the other customers coming in. Sometimes you wish you do though, especially the ones that contradict themselves. Like I had a guy come in, I'm sitting there on the table, gonna make the sandwich, I hear him say, yeah, can I get an Impossible Whopper, no mayo, make it a vegan burger, add bacon. I'm sorry, do you want the cow with your pig, or do you just want the pig with its lunch in the same sandwich? Like, come on, bro. In general, being up on the stage though gives you like this really, really big rush of energy. Like, pretty sure if I put my heart against the microphone, it would start like it would start trying to be a DJ or some crap. The tunes playing before I got on stage was much better than a beat my heart could make because it might just stop. So, after going up, doing all that stuff, I was like, man, what did I write down again? Kind of happens to me a lot. You know, goldfish memory and all that. Try to remember the set as you're on stage. Terrible. Anyway, so I don't know if anyone else has ever had this happen to them, but like, has anyone here ever got some form of the munchies? Ever? Yeah, you're so nervous to make any noise because you know that people are going to judge you badly for getting the munchies. Like, how did you get that? Well, I heard weed, and yes, basically. So, this one time, I was over at my friend's house, and there was this raspberry pie that was infused with happiness. And little did I know that this pie had a lot of this happiness inside of it. And so they gave me this pie, and it was a piece like this big. Now I'm not fat, but I know that's a small piece. But little did I know, this little piece had 250 milligrams of happiness inside of it. So, after I eat this pie, I'm about 30 minutes in, and I'm watching this video and just laughing my ass off, and I'm just like, I'm gonna throw up. And bolt to the frickin' bathroom. Immediately upon arriving, I start my own little bad sprinkler system, but I got everywhere but my target, which was the toilet. Got it on the walls, the floor, the bathtub, somehow on the frickin' ceiling. But I missed the toilet. That's not entirely true, I got the side of it, but nevertheless, the whole purpose was to go in it. So, I don't know what came across my sister, but she apparently saw me like this and was like, I'll have what he's having. And she gets a piece. She's doing perfectly fine, first piece. But now she's got the munchies. And the closest food to her is more of this pie. Now, if you eat too much of this at one time, it could probably come out 10 times the speed it went in, okay? You start projectile vomiting all over the place. Not very fun. After doing all that, you know, all stressed, I don't know, who here stress eats? Yeah, same. But, you know, after this performance, I'm now craving a bunch of raspberry pie. So, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. My name is Nathaniel Adams. Have a good night, guys.
Keep it going for Nathaniel! I feel like Nathaniel's Venn diagram is like goldfish moments, happy stuff. You know, you totally intersect. Too much pie, a lot of forgetfulness. Great job, Nathaniel. You guys, If you're going to be hosting an event and you need an MC, that's what I'm doing this evening. Recycle Minds has many great ones. You can do it here at this venue, or they can go to you. Yeah, right? HR reps, all of you, aren't you? The harder you laugh, the more I want to report people. Okay. You guys, who's ready for your next comedian? Comedy can be a very daunting thing, but from day one, she jumped in with both feet. Give it up for Joylyn Maniaci.
Well, she said my name, right? It's actually, though, Dr. Maniaci. Paid quite a bit for that, so I like to put that in there whenever I can. And I told her Maniaci is spelled like maniac with an I at the end, so it's usually pretty easy to remember how to spell. Now, interesting thing I learned in medical school, though, was about me. I have body dysmorphic disorder, which is basically when the brain doesn't quite work, so I have a distorted perception of myself, so I'm actually fatter in my head than I am in real life, you know? But this really got highlighted after medical school when I started dating my now husband, Mr. Maniaci, who's a pretty skinny guy, you know? Great guy otherwise, you know, really good mountain biker. And his name is a lot easier to spell over the phone than my maiden name. So I said I did, you know? But in my mind, we are not Dr. and Mr. We are Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy. We got a skinny guy and a not so skinny chick with blonde hair and blue eyes, okay? And especially vivid when we're riding bikes. Like, do you guys remember that scene in the Muppet movie where Kermit is riding, you know, and he's on the seat doing the arabesque and stunts and stuff? And then there's Miss Piggy pedaling along, looking straight ahead, both hands on the handlebars, you know? That's us. He'll be bombing downhill. I come up, bringing up the rear, heavy on the brakes. You know, we'll meet at the bottom of the trail. He's all like, yeah, babe, rad, awesome, trying to give me high fives, and I just smile. That was so fun. You know, looking straight ahead with my hands on the handlebars. So that's just how we roll. You know, kind of an interesting pair. Another interesting pair that I know pretty well, I call them mom and dad. Round of applause for all you parents out there. Yeah, let's hear it for all you moms and dads. Yeah. Congratulations, guys. It's all your fault. I'm a relationship doctor. I work on the personal side of health, and most relationship problems actually stem from childhood. You know, this is true because it's not a question of if, but when you messed up your kids. Okay, that's really the circle of life. You know, and this isn't about blame. It's just about how influential you really are in your kid's life. You know, especially when it comes to things like communication styles. Like, my parents are basically opposites when it comes to communication, you know? On the one hand, you've got my dad, who doesn't say a lot, but when he does, you better understand perfectly, you know, and do exactly what he says. Because if you don't, then he yells because he thinks it's because you didn't hear it. Like, just hold the flashlight still, will ya? You know, not quite soft-spoken. Then there's my mom, who talks a lot, but says very little. I think she just doesn't think anybody's listening to her, so there's just like a constant output at a low volume, you know? But picture these two people in Spain. Like, they come to visit me when I study abroad, and my mom will only talk to me. Like, she's convinced nobody can understand her, no matter how many times I say, Mom, Coca-Cola will translate. And then my dad is basically screaming at people because he's so frustrated and not being understood that at one point we're in a restaurant and I say, Dad, they can hear you. They don't speak English. As yet, funny, not funny, okay? I'm the product of these two influences, okay? So I'm what you'd call an over-communicator. I talk a lot with volume. All right? So that if you and I are having a conversation and I think maybe there's disagreement or a lack of enthusiasm, any kind of hesitation, my brain thinks it's because you didn't understand me. So I use more words to get you to understand me. And if then I sense that we're still not on the same page, well then I think if you just knew how I felt about this, then you'd hop on my page and we'd move right along. So I use more words to talk about my feelings, okay? Now I thought this was normal. There was nothing over about this to me. But then what do? I go and marry an under-communicator. You know him, Mr. Mariachi, okay? Rad dude, but communicatively challenged in my professional opinion, okay? All right, and so you'd think we could balance each other out. An over-communicator and an under-communicator, that's average, you know? Or at least when I talk, he'd listen, no problem, right? But here's how it actually flows, okay? We're talking about repainting the living room, you know? Give it a pop of color, warm it up a bit, you know? So I say, hey, what do you think about green, you know? Nothing drab. We're not going Oliver Sage, and pastels are out. Can't do obnoxious lime or apple. Like, what do you think about leaf? You know, basic Crayola green. I'm talking to a dude, I know this. Basic Crayola green. What do you think? You know? Nothing. He looks up. Not at the wall we're looking at painting, okay? And then back down at his phone. My brain breaks. Like, what's going on here? The head went up, it went down. Is that a nod? No sound came out. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I go on, you know, about feelings this time. Hey, it's gonna be so nice to have a bold, beautiful statement color, you know, boost the feng shui factor. Green is grounding, it promotes prosperity, yeah. But hey, I'm getting a little bit nervous. I'd like to know what you think. I mean, this is a pretty crucial decision. It's going to affect both of our daily lives. What do you think about green? And all of a sudden, he bolts off the couch. You know, he moves to the other side of the room, grumbling something about, give me a minute and silence is golden. Did I hear golden? Because now I'm annoyed. I never even mentioned that color palette. But then I let it sink in. Gold. So he, you know, finishes his rant, but meanwhile, I'm still mentally rearranging furniture, thinking about curtains, maybe a warm, buttery yellow, and definitely some accent pillows. You know, to where literally dozens of seconds go by where I don't say anything. And that silence makes him so nervous, he looks at me and goes, well, say something. And the universal balance got restored. You know, talking universal balance, that is not something that is contained within one religion. I mean, Jesus, Buddha, Muppets, they've all got wisdom for us, you know? And I've studied a lot, you know? I grew up in a traditional Christian household, and I got into some Eastern stuff when I went to medical school, meditation, yoga, that kind of thing, and I noticed this really interesting paradox about timing. In the Eastern traditions, people will show up to the ashram early to get to the front of the room, as close to the guru as possible. But I know that when I was growing up, we got to church early so that we could sit in the back. I mean, there's just some things you grow up knowing, and our culture tells us what to do, how to act, you know. But what about when it isn't clear cut? Like, do I show up early or late? Do I take a seat in the front or the back? Do I break up now, or do we make it together forever? You know, and I've noticed that when I'm really wrestling with some big questions like that, that's when people get all obtuse and start speaking in cliches. You know, they'll say something like, everybody puts on their pants one leg at a time. But pants is not what I'm struggling with, so that's not helpful. You can take that cliche and put it in your back pocket, all right? You know, so what do you do? These are big, tough questions, you know? But I've been putting on pants since I was 6. You know, anybody who's actually been 6 knows that it's not that hard to put on your pants both legs at a time. But do you know what is hard? Putting on 2 socks at a time. Getting both your arms in the sleeves at the same time. Yeah, that's tough. And somebody who can do that can give me some advice. Like, find me an astronaut. Those guys got degrees in astrophysics to float into their clothes, all limbs at a time. Yeah, those are geniuses, and they can tell me what to do with my life. Because adulting's kind of hard, you know? I mean, I'm at the grocery store constantly, way more than 1.6 times a week because I'm always forgetting something, you know? And now with COVID, I forget the mask, so I've doubled my time, you know? Forget it, go back. Well, I guess I doubled my time in the parking lot. But anyway, the back and forth is really wearing me down, you know, to the point that I'm actually Googling, can you make scrambled eggs without eggs? You know, anything to reduce my trips here, you know? But there is one thing, one ingredient so magical that come rain or snow, hellstone or brimfire, I think I said those backwards, you know, I'm gonna have butter. I'm gonna go to the store because butter is essential. And I'm talking COVID essential. I mean, it is up there with booze and toilet paper, okay? And not just any butter is gonna do, no. My movement to adulthood has been marked by the ever-increasing cost of the dairy products that I buy, okay? So Land O'Lakes, we're not gonna go there. I can't believe it's not butter. I can't believe anyone believes that it is butter. Hello, my mom called and wants her Tupperware back, okay? Real butter does not come in tubs, people. You give me the organic, pasture-raised Kerrygold, okay? The salted kind, yeah, with a moving marketing narrative about the Irish countryside to make me feel good about the extra $2 I'm spending here, you know? So I grab my Kerrygold and I think, you know, I can just save myself a trip since I'm here already. I think I'll get a bottle of wine and a pack of toilet paper. The cheap stuff though, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little bit rough on the wipe, but that money is for butter. All right, thanks so much, you guys. Keep it going, North Joyland! Excellent!
Well, we're here now. Guys, one more time for Joyland. Next comics. Good luck. All right, you guys. If you're a teen, make some noise. Some teens in the house. If you're a parent of a teen, make more noise. If you want to get your teens out of the house, give me a whoop whoop. Yeah, guys, we have teen improv classes here at Recycled Minds, and they're drop-in classes. You pay a 1 monthly fee and drop them off here and pick them up if you want to. So, with that being said, let's give it up for your next comedian. He is dripping in confidence, and man, I am glad he was not too cool for comedy school. Give it up for Danish is hot.
Man, can we give it up for everybody else? Feels really good to be up here. Feels really good to be out here with all of you. We're Boise. Boise in the house, right? Sometimes I picture all of Boise in one big house. And the claustrophobia just entices me. Is anyone just yearning for just a little bit of claustrophobia? I get a little bit of claustrophobia though, because I got 2 babies, and they both are co-sleeping. One's 2 and one's 4. Being a father is such a special thing. I love it. These children are just so adorable. You just see them squeeze their cheeks and do all these beautiful things that people do when they see babies. And every once in a while, somebody will tell me that one of my sons looks like me. And that, let me tell you what, that makes me feel real good. Until I realize that they're just completely lying. And this is due to the unique reaction that my children get when we go out. and me not getting the exact same thing. Women don't come up to me and squeeze my cheeks. Nobody comes up to me and tells me I'm so cute. It's rough, man. It's rough. When, sometimes I get confused, you know, because a girl will come up and tell me that my child is real cute, and then follow that by telling me that my baby looks like me. And I'm just kind of curious if she's hitting on me in that moment. Or is this a Me Too moment that I'm experiencing here? It's likely it's not. I feel like being a 35. Being a 35-year-old father puts you in a category where you just, you know, people just don't tell you you're cute as much. I mean, you could really change a lot of lives if all of us left the room today and told a 35-year-old father that they were cute. Think about how much good would come in the world. I mean, I can't, you know, I have a complex with this whole cute thing. Because it was just real tough for me. You know, I was 8 years old when we moved to the United States. And I would always pay attention to who the girls were talking about, who they thought was cute. And you know, they'd always bring up Brad Pitt, Justin Timberlake, SpongeBob. I'm not any of those guys. You can't be cute like SpongeBob. Nobody really was talking about the gas station guy from my poop. I just thought maybe the gas station guy from The Simpsons. But yeah, I just thought maybe, you know, maybe I'm not cute. But at the same time, you know, I can play this victim thing. It's nice. I can get a few little points by being a victim. But maybe part of me not being called cute is I just don't do cute things. Maybe my behavior is anti-cute. I consider this when I go to the grocery store. Okay? Love the grocery store. It's very different too, by the way. I'm telling you, I was born in Dubai, right? So this is a place where we lived in an apartment building, and we walked downstairs to this place called the supermarket. You guys know what a supermarket is? There's absolutely nothing super about it. You just pop into this place, you tell them what you want, you get some candy, there's some fruits and vegetables, some flies popping around there. You know the guy. That was the vibe. And then I moved to the United States. You guys do grocery stores like nothing else. Have you guys been to these new Albertsons? You can just lay on your back in between the aisle, and because they're just so wide. That's what I was going for. Maybe I haven't laid my back in the aisle, but regardless, these things are beautiful. And I guess I just never really realized how vulnerable we are in these places. You guys familiar with how vulnerable you are at the grocery store? How much of yourself you're putting out there? Well, the moment you recognize it is when you're passing by a cute person across the way. And, you know, minding your own business, being super glad that you can maybe interact with this person because you're feeling fresh that day. But then, you look at the reaction, and it's one of these. And then you take a moment and you look at the grocery cart and start recognizing that you, my friend, do not have alpha male groceries. Because friends, I don't shop for protein powder, chicken breast, and mouthwash. It is just not in my grocery cart. It's all about, you know, a little bit of candy, some ice cream, some anti-itch cream. You know, we all need it. You got the itch, you gotta get anti-itch. But I think that's why it is. Maybe it's because I don't take on cute behaviors that I don't get called cute as much. But tonight, you know, I want to tell all of you guys that you're extremely cute. And I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for being here.
class, but I did it. Are you so proud of me, Donnie? Yeah, that's my one clap for that. Thank you, cleaning maven. She's been wonderful. Give her a round of applause. Lurking in the dark. All right, you guys. Comedians often mime their lives for the jokes, and this lady has found the funny. Everyone give it up for Yuki. Grab it. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for being here so late. It's almost my bedtime. I'm gonna wrap it up, okay? I'm an old soul. I've always been that friend, you know, like the mom of the friend group, the one who's always a little extra worried about everything every time we go out. Like, did you bring your jacket? Are you sure? Okay. Did you bring water? You know you get a headache when you don't bring water. Do you want me to? I have ibuprofen. Are you good? Okay. It's your choice. Fine. I'm that friend. And I've always been that way. But in recent years, I felt like my body is finally catching up to match this inner age, like I'm really embodying it, you know? And there's a few signs that have alerted me to this. The first of which is, I don't question what my parents do anymore, at all. It makes sense now. Our entire family went out to a restaurant the other night for some nice dinner. It was a gastronomic success. We had stuffed tacos, we had buttery pasta, we had garlicky steak. It was so delicious. We're heading back from the restaurant. My dad's in the car like this. Yeah, delicious. Yeah, well, I think I overdid it. Reaches into the door of his truck and reaches for his not-so-secret stash of Tums that he always keeps handy. He offers me a few before casually dumping like 7 into his mouth, you know? And my biggest concern about this whole interaction was my response, because as a teenager, I would have been like, ew, Dad, no, ew, I don't need Tums, I'm invincible, gross. I don't feel pain. But as an adult, my reaction was, oh, Dad, that's really considerate, thank you. Yeah, good on him for taking some extras. You never know how bad that heartburn's gonna get. It's 9:47 p.m. on a Friday night. I'm looking forward to an early bedtime and putting on some warm fuzzy socks before I get into bed, you know, and in that situation, casually being offered antacids for dessert just feels like the most natural thing in the world, you know? And his statement really felt like the crowning statement of adulthood to me. Like, I feel like as a kid, it's all about YOLO and eat, just do it, you know? But as an adult, there's no just do it. As an adult, it's more like, can I do it? Having fun comes with consequences these days, and something as simple as trying to enjoy a meal without your chest catching on fire is, you know, it requires extensive damage control now. I also know I'm getting older because I've started swapping doctor's recommendations with people, like we're talking about the next bar or restaurant to go to. Like, did you hear about that new doctor's office that's going up on 10 Mile? Oh, it's supposed to be awesome. Plenty of parking, great space. Yeah, we should go. We should go. Yeah. Or like we gossip about medical personnel, like their waitstaff at a restaurant. Like, oh my gosh, Dr. Pete's nurse is so rude. No, the service is terrible. I'm not going back. She's mixed up my blood work like twice now. Yeah. Or you talk about your favorites, like your favorite restaurant that you go to every year on your birthday, and you get really excited about it, like, oh, I love Dr. Schaefer! She and I go way back. Girl, her vibe is so good, trust me, her office is always clean. Yeah, no, they never mix up my insurance, no. And can you believe this? Kind of embarrassing, but every year for my annual physical, she still gives me a sucker. Can you believe it? We just know each other so well, she gets me. I also don't get angry out on the road anymore. I just get concerned. The other day, this guy cut me off in traffic. He nearly ran me off the road with how little space he gave me when switching lanes. Totally didn't use his blinker. Total idiot move. And my response? I jumped and I put a hand over my heart and I went, oh my gosh, I hope he's okay.
And I just kept like driving for the next 15 minutes just thinking about him, you know? He could really kill somebody. I hope he's all right. Maybe he needs some water. Aging comes with sound effects for me too. Like I used to sit down and keep that triumph quietly to myself like a normal person, like, yes, I made it. But now it's like an event. Like the entire world needs to know that I have successfully sat in my chair. It's almost like a backwards version of Instagram. Like if I don't make some incredibly obnoxious, offensive sound effects when sitting down, did it even happen? It's like, oh, here we go, made it. Athlete, right here, champion, yeah, here we go, Olympics, that's next. And standing up can feel more like an exorcism. Like there's contortions and facial expressions and like this whole soundtrack of gasps and grunts to get through the whole thing. And if I overdo it, my body will let me know. The other day I was sitting in my favorite chair, because I've got one of those now, and I decided that I wanted a drink of water. Sounds simple enough, so I committed to my mission. And I go to stand up, go through the whole exorcism, go through, you know, all of that effort, finally make it upright, and my back tweaks. And it hurt. So I finally did just what, you know, any responsible, normal adult would do. I immediately accepted defeat, sat myself back down, and decided I was not going anywhere. And as I'm sinking into my chair, the thought comes to me, well, I think I overdid it. You guys have been great. Thank you so much.
Every class, he came prepared, and he was the total teacher's pet, and it worked, because he's closing the show. Guys, give it up for Spencer Seawald.
Hey, I did bring cookies tonight. No, you can't have them. So my name is Spencer, and I don't believe in North Dakota. I think it's a myth. If you look up facts about North Dakota, the first two that pop up are that it leads the nation in durum wheat production and dry peas. That sounds like stuff you would say if you didn't want anybody to ever come to your state. Like South Dakota has an epic monument of 4 presidents carved into granite. And what does North Dakota have? Wheat and peas. So here's my theories. I think it's part of Canada, and I think we're too stubborn to admit that we're wrong, and they're too polite to tell us. I think it's just one Dakota, that's the next one, and they just said they're 2 states for the extra senators. But my favorite theory, and this is the one I actually think is true, is that it's like an Area 51 military installation. Because if you really wanted to hide something like that, you would just have to convince everybody that you're the most boring place in the country, so no one comes looking. So that's the kind of lowbrow conspiracy theory that I'm into. I have a few commitments in my life. I'm married, I have a baby, and I have an Amazon Prime membership. Things are going well. One thing I cannot commit to, though, is a 90-minute movie. Anybody else? No, you're all responsible adults. I do watch 5 TV episodes in a row. I've convinced myself, though, that this is normal because, here's my analogy. If I offered my wife a box of Thin Mints cookies and said, eat this all in one sitting, she'd say, no way, that's crazy. But if I handed her one at a time, she could eat 3 boxes in an hour. I am an engineer, so naturally my first job was at, any guesses? No, a grocery store, come on. There's been 7 of us, come on. So tips that I'd like to share with you guys. The first one, and this is going to blow your minds. When we say we're going to the back room to look for stuff, we're not. That's a lie. We are paid minimum wage, and we're not going to go back there like Indiana Jones looking for your holy grail, that is your Ritz crackers. Instead, we're going to stand back there and do this. And come back out and say, yeah, I looked everywhere, they weren't back there. If you're really nice to me, I might look for like 30 seconds. That's it. The second secret is we drop everything. Food all over the floor. You just wipe off the hair, you put it back in the box. It's fine. I worked in wine and liquor, so when you drop those, people know. I had a shelf of red wine fall on my head once, and that's one of those moments where you just step back, look at the ground, and think, is that more blood than has ever been in a human body? Or what's going on here? Oh, it's just Merlot. It's Merlot. And the third secret, like most places, the grocery store has clicks. You got like your produce guys who are out there arranging all the apples so they're just perfect in a row. You got like the bakery, which is just like a fairy tale village, you know, warm bread and birds flying everywhere. And you got like the meat and seafood guys, and those guys honestly are just really creepy. They wear big, long white coats with pockets full of knives. When they're done at the end of the day, they scrub everything down with bleach, and they wheel around these tubs of guts, go to the trash can. So the moral of the story here is that if you're not nice to your grocery store workers, there's plenty of places in the back to hide your body. Red wine can be used as a cover for blood, and the meat department is really good at chopping people up. The customer isn't always right. Thank you guys, you've been a wonderful audience. Thanks for coming out.